Hello everyone, and welcome back to another of our video. Very good to have you all here. Hope everybody is doing very fine. Okay, so today's video we will be taking it up from where we left off the last time with regards to building a pending order bot. Okay, so remember, a very important point of note, I'm trying to layer as much as possible some of the content so that it can flow in a kind of like a seamless fashion. Doesn't necessarily mean that all of this content go exactly hand in hand in terms of the bots that were built. Okay, so today's class is specifically focused on the adding pending orders to our to our bot instead of entering exactly. But what we want to do is when a condition is met, maybe we want to wait for a certain thing to be done, and then we will trigger the pending order. So in the last video, we built the bot together. In today's video, we're going to test the bot together, and I'll show you some other things that we can do with regards to that. So let's jump straight into it. Okay. So remember, if you're new on the channel, kindly subscribe, leave a like there as well, and also leave a comment down section for what you'd like me to content you'd like me to cover in some subsequent videos. Okay, so let's jump straight into it. So in our previous video, we built this bot together, and this bot specifically used is just basically our engulfing candle EA. We now added a pending order condition to what it. So remember our engulfing candle bot selection, where, for example, well, if the bearish engulfing would be a situation where we have a bullish candle that is followed by a bearish candle that completely engulfs it, okay, including the wick, obviously. And then we would, before now, we'll take a sell at this point. Our stop loss would be above this high, and we'll go after 1:2. So 2 RR, okay? Now, what we're going to do in this specific bot is basically just add a pending order condition to it. And, one of the reasons I said we can do this is, well, let's assume that this is our condition is met. Instead of entering instantly when at the close of that candle, we might say, well, I want to only enter the trade if price comes up to this, let's say somewhere like the middle of the candle, okay? So if price comes up here, then we enter the trade, and then we can go after 1:2, or maybe go after 1:3. You can see probably the advantage here, like we discussed in the last video. Our risk is smaller, and we can potentially go after much bigger RR. Okay, so how do we do that? The condition aspect of it, you should understand that aspect. If you don't, go and watch previous videos with regards to how we built the engulfing candle bots. Otherwise, you already do understand that. And so instead of entering here, we said, well, we're going to look for the middle of the candle, which is 50% retracement of that, which is basically the high of this candle plus the low of the candle divided by 2, which gives us the median point. Okay, and we set all that conditions basically within here. I showed you all of that, which is the middle point. I'll go over them a little bit. So just a quick rundown of what we just considered in the previous video before we go and back test it. So let's just jump into some of these blocks and see what it looked like once more. Okay, so what we said is, instead of using an instant buy or an instant sell, we selected the buy pending order. Okay, and then for the parameters, we said, well, obviously we'll leave this as open price. That means when the market price gets to that point. And then how do we know the exact point that we want the trade to be placed? So what we said is, we want our EA to look at the candle, okay? Look at candle ID 1. Now, why do we select candle ID 1? Remember that the current candle is candle ID 0. The previous one is candle ID 1. The one before that is candle ID 2, and so on and so forth, okay? Now, however, since candle ID 1 is the previous candle, and that's where the condition was met. So remember the condition, we have a bearish candle with wicks, okay? And then it is now followed by a big bullish candle that completely engulfs it. So we now have a bullish candle, right, that engulfs it. Might be slightly, it doesn't matter how big of the engulf it is. Now, before now, we enter here. Now we'll want to enter at this point. So remember that this condition will only be met at the close of this candle. And remember, while this candle is forming, it's going to have the candle ID of 0. This one will have the ID of 1. Now, when this candle, this green candle, when it closes, it will now have the candle ID of 1, because the new candle that is forming here would have the candle ID of 0. So this will now be 0, this will be 1, and this would be 2. So at this point, we want to be looking at candle ID 1. That is why we have candle ID 1 here. And what do we want to look? We want the entry price, or the open price, as you can see here, would be when would be at the median price of candle ID 1, and the median price is the high plus the low divided by 2, which will give us the exact middle point. Okay, and that is why we set this like that. Okay, now the next thing we did here was, okay, we already understand the part. We selected our lot size, and then our stop loss, we used the candle low for the buy condition. So if we are buying, we want our stop loss to be 2 pips below the low, or just at the candle low. You can offset that with, you can, if you want it to be 2 pips below the low, you can easily go and we customize that, add another block to your condition and set that there. But for now, we'll just use the candle low as our stop loss, and our take profits, we want to use 2 times our risk, which is why we used this setup. If you don't understand any of this, just go back to the previous video. I'm going to link that particular class in the description, and also you see it floating around at the end of the screen. Okay, now once the condition is met and price gets to the halfway point, it's going to trigger a buy. Okay, and then it will set the stop loss here, the take profits to be 2 times our risk. Now, also very important, there's some other conditions that I did impute, because remember, okay, let me just redo. Also remember that it's also possible, right? It's also possible that this condition is met, but price doesn't come back to our middle price. Okay, so maybe the condition is met and price just keeps going and going and going. How do we delete this order? Well, the way we handled that here was we added a delete pending order, delete the pending order block here, saying if we find if as price is moving, it makes another bullish, another engulfing candle, it will delete the previous one, so that we don't have pending orders stacking up and stacking all the way. So we want a situation where if this one is negated and another one is formed, this one is no longer considered as an entry criteria. So that's what we just built. Remember, the whole concept of this particular video, it's all about giving you the idea on how you can do this. Now you can take this same concept. Now we're using an engulfing candle, you can add it to our moving average crossover setup. It's all about, you have the idea on how to build, how to include pending orders into your EA. So what we'll do is we'll just go over to our strategy tester and back test. The goal of what we are testing is we want to see if it's doing exactly what we asked it to do. Okay, so let's do that right away. So we'll download our project. I think I already downloaded this, and I had to add it to the chat so that there are no bugs. So basically, you just click on download the MPUL4 or the .ex4 file and install it on your, just copy it or cut it and move it to the data folder of your MT4, and that way you would have it on your MT4. Now, if you don't know how to do that, go and watch some of the earlier videos. I showed you exactly how you can do that. There's a video that says how to basically attaching our bots and then back testing it. So you'd see that in that video. You could go and check that out as well. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll jump over to our MT4, okay, and then we're going to basically back test what we just did. So you can see the bot we built. The name is price action, so PA, that's price action bot with pending orders. That's how I named it so that it's easy for me. I think I already added it to this particular MT4, so let's just drag this away. Yeah, so that's it, the price action bot with pending orders. Okay, so what we'll just do, if you don't know how to do this, I'm just going to close it so that I can redo it for you. Just go to view, okay, and under that you see strategy tester, and then you can do that. So what we'll do is we'll select our bot, which is the price action bot with pending order. Okay, we're going to test it on the Euro USD 4 hour. Let's just leave it as like it is. Remember, the goal is not whether this bot to make profit. The goal is to see whether our pending order condition is being basically being respected. Okay, we'll leave every other thing the way it is and just click start. And let's just make this cleaner, and yeah, should be good to go. Okay, so we're waiting for it to basically compile and accumulate all the data it needs to begin to run. So remember, what we want to see, right? What we want to see is clear. We want to see if a bullish or a bearish engulfing candle is formed. We don't want our EA to open a trade instantly. Instead, what we want it to do is we want it to, let me make more room so that we can see more of the charts here. Instead of, we don't want it to take a trade instantly. And instead, what we want it to do is we want it to, let me close this one, sir. So there's more room for us to see. Yeah. So we want it to place a pending order once the condition is met. So let's start this and see. Okay, so I'm going to try. Okay, pause it. Now there's a sell trade that is open already. So let me just zoom in because this is kind of like a little bit fast, but you can obviously slow it down when you're watching this. So you can see what we have here. This is a bullish candle. So let me make that white. Okay, so this is a bullish candle. White. Let me get red. Or blue. Okay, so this is a bullish candle. Okay, and then the next one is what? A bearish candle. And how do we define a bearish candle? A bearish engulfing is a bullish candle that is followed by a bearish candle where the close of the bearish candle is lower than the low of the bullish candle. You can see that here. This is where the candle closed, and this is where this one was. So that's meets our bearish candle, our bearish engulfing candle condition. Now, how is it supposed to enter the trade? Well, it's supposed to enter at the middle, right? So it's going to take the high, right? So the highest point of this current candle and the lowest point of that candle, of that engulfing candle, and then divide it by 2 to give us the mid price. So you can see that now in this particular instance, even though this is where the low is, price closed very close to the middle of the candle. So it's almost as if it's opened next to it. So this is the middle point. That's where it didn't, you notice that it didn't open at the close of the candle. It opened at the midpoint of that candle. So now anyway, that's exactly what it's doing. I don't know whether this will end up being a profit or loss, but it doesn't really matter. Let's see it take more trades. So let's see. Okay, so this particular case, it ends up triggering and giving us a profit. This one should be a bearish engulfing candle as well, but let's see if that works. Exactly. So now you see that this is also a bullish candle, right? Followed by what? A bearish candle that completely engulfs it. Did you see it take a trade instantly? Well, the answer is no. If you look here, so if you look at here, let me see if I can drag this out a little bit. If you look towards the, I don't know if you can see this, but just look here, you would see that it is a sell limit order. You can see it here. Has a sell limit order. There's no trade placed yet. It's a sell limit order. It's only going to place a trade if price comes up here before then it will take a trade either way. So let's see if that happens. So note that there are no trades. So let me zoom out a little bit. Maybe it will show us that pending order clearly. Yeah. I just want it. Okay, so you can see it here that it says sell limits. Okay, so it's not taking a trade, it has placed the trade, but it's not open, right? Before it will open a sell here and put our stop loss here, but right now it is opening a sell at the halfway point of that candle, and then obviously our stop loss is still there and our take profit is way below. So let's continue to see that play out and see how it goes. Okay, so we play price doesn't tap into it. Okay, now it taps into it. So you can see here that the order has gone from sell limit to actual sell. So it's not a sell trade. The trade is now triggered. So if price goes here, that's a loss. If price goes down and hit our targets, that would be a gain. So let's see what happens. It doesn't really matter, but let's just see. Price is playing around. Price appears to be going toward our targets. Now, let's see, it might hit our target, it may not. Okay, so it doesn't in this case. It doesn't hit the target, although it goes to very close to it. Happens, it's unfortunate, and then price went back up. So exactly what we want to see is exactly what's happening. So price is, if the condition is met, it places a pending order, and then continues to wait. So I want to see a situation where the pending order doesn't get triggered and another one is formed. Then see how it deletes that. So you can see in this particular case now we have another trade. So this one here is a bearish engulfing. This one is a bearish candle. This one is a bullish candle that engulfs it, so making it a bullish engulfing. Notice how it placed a buy limit order at the midpoint of that candle. Our stop loss is here and our take profit is up here. Okay, so that's being said, but notice how price has not come back to hit the order or to trigger the order. I would like to see price continue to go up and then maybe make another candle so that you can see it delete this order. Okay, so let's see how that goes. Okay, so let's see. Okay, now watch. Okay, so that one is still on. Now remember, it will take trade both buy and sell. So if the condition for a bearish engulfing is met, to also take that trade. So in this particular case, that's actually what happened. So there was a bearish engulfing candle here. It took the trade. I think the trade ended up in a loss. But this bullish engulfing is still valid because another bullish engulfing has not showed itself. So what I'd like to see is probably let's make another bullish engulfing, and then let it delete this old one. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that our bot is doing exactly that. So let's keep going. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, so I don't know if you can see this. Let me zoom in a little bit. Right. So remember there was a pending order here. Okay, so this is a bullish engulfing. This candle here is a bullish engulfing, right? And there was a pending order here. Now that order was still on until this point. You can see this blue line. This is where it deleted that order. Now, why did it delete that order? Because notice that another pending order, another engulfing candle was formed. Another bullish engulfing was formed because you can see that this candle here, this setup, this candlestick formation here is also a bullish engulfing. This is a bearish candle. The close of this candle is higher than the high of this candle, making that a bullish engulfing. So that is the reason why it now placed a new pending order at the halfway point of this, stop loss below here, and our take profits there. So in this case, it ended up being a loss, but you can see that it's doing exactly what we want to see. And that's exactly the point of this particular video. It's doing exactly what we asked it to do. And it's not necessarily, I'm not really concerned as to whether this particular bot is making money, but with regard to the fact that the bot is doing exactly what it is required. Okay, so yeah. I think that I hope you guys enjoyed this particular illustration of this bot and would see how that plays out. So what we'll do now is I'm just going to let this run. I don't think this bot probably don't make money. But the main point, right? The main point I'd like to, a key point I'd like to basically leave with you is the fact that, so remember, you might have a system, you might have a strategy. You know, your strategy might be, you know, if the arrow side does a specific thing and stochastic does a specific thing, but you don't want to enter instantly. Maybe you want to see price go and close above the previous candle or below the previous candle. This is exactly how you do it. Okay, so this is, it's just a question of your just a situation where you just use your imagination and use the tools available to you. So in this particular case, we were using the candle median points. Okay, so you can use other things like the candle high, you can use other things like the candle low. So for instance, here, instead of using the median points, we can use stuff like the candle high, the candle low, the candle open. All these conditions can give you the flexibility to build a bot that suits your system. Remember, I always keep saying this thing, and the reason I give out this or have this session or this classes is so that I can give you enough understanding of the FX dreamer space so that you can learn how to build a bot for your system. So you can take each of these individual pieces and splice it together to enable you build the EA of your choice. Okay, so today we just covered the pending order section. How we just backtested the pending order section and some other key takeaways with regard to that point. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you've not watched the previous video with regards to how we built the bot, I'm going to leave a link. You should see a link on the somewhere on the video right now where you should be able to follow to that. So you also see that at the end of the video. It's always nice to have you here. So please, guys, ensure that you subscribe to the channel. I'm looking to bring you more and more very useful content. Also leave comments in the comment section, letting me know what you'd like to see more of. And then please don't forget to leave a like. It helps me a lot, and share the channel to people who you think might benefit from this, and it's very well much appreciated. Once again, this is Nana Alvin Alexander. It's nice talking to you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, to have a wonderful time.